Welcome to season 1 of Top Crop.
We found out that the ground is alive.
Trying to get done a little quicker and trying to simplify things a little bit.
You know, there's only so much money to go around. I look for big wins.
Welcome to Harvest 2023. It is Thursday, October 26th, and wow, what a day it has been already. What a year it's been already. Whew. So it makes sense that when we're out here filming, it'd be quite the day. But it was really fun and educational. We had the great guys from Agro Eco Power out along with Bednar. And for those that don't know who Bednar is, that's that yellow equipment that you might seen here around my place or at Farm Progress, Husker Days, or Farm Science Review in Ohio. Or you might have seen it on the Game Farming Simulator, I've been told. Yeah, my kids knew about it before I did, and that's because of Farming Simulator. But we had the chance to be one of the first ones to have it on American soil. We got to demo 3 different pieces of equipment, and boy, it was awesome. We got to be right in the mix of it, learned so much about it. They're really interesting. Definitely recommend you guys go check them out. They have all sorts of different tillage tools, from high-speed disc to high residue management disc, which I'm really interested in, especially with our cornstalk ground. And then they also have a chisel plow, but I've never seen a chisel plow quite like this one. I've been trying to get away from chisel plowing, and then they bring this thing out, and they got me interested because the job it did and the fracturing of the soil it did, I was really amazed by it. So it's a great engineered product. I recommend you guys take a look at it and see what you think. But we wrapped that up. Then I came right to the field here. We had to run a soybean plot. We ran a soybean plot, and then we hit a Denman rod. Yep. Tried to destroy the head. So we got that up. Luckily enough, we farmed this farm for 35 years, and I'm the one that finally hits it, and it's in the middle of the field. I mean, we've chisel plowed, I don't know, it's my luck. It's the 3rd Denman rod I have hit in my career. 2 with the grain table, 1 with a corn head. So I guess I'm a magnet to these things. Luckily, it could have been worse. It could have bent the cutter bar, could have bent the head. That's what happened to me last time, completely destroyed it. So we lucked out this time, it didn't do that. But it is an unneeded headache. We're trying to race Mother Nature. So right now we are 150 acres left of soybeans, is my guess. But the problem with that is on that 150 acres that we have left, our biggest field is 30 acres. So there's gonna be a lot of moving, a lot of head taken off. And it's not easy with this bigger equipment, but hopefully the rain holds off till Friday night and we can wrap up the 2023 soybean harvest, and tomorrow we'll be moving on to the corn harvest. The takeaway from beans this year, I was really impressed with how the beans were this year. It was a very unexpected good year for soybeans. The yield has been strong overall. I look at the numbers when we're all done. I'd say we're probably challenging 2018 for our highest farm average ever on soybeans. Very pleased with it. The only thing that, me and Roy was just talking about here in the combine was white mold became a huge problem this year in beans, and in fields that we've never had white mold in before. And it seems like it really affected our later varieties where it did not affect our earlier maturity varieties. And it put a hurting on them. I mean, we're talking a 25 bushel yield swing. And when, they've been hit 2 to 3 times with fungicides, well fed, well taken care of, 100,000 population on 20-inch rows, as a management standpoint, it kind of makes you frustrated because you don't know what else to do to try to prevent white mold. In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. If we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year. Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our 3rd year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. Clearly we've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Look here in front of us. I mean, this is a field, this is one of my best fields that we have soil-wise, and it's got white mold scattered out all over it. So the darker, blacker spots that you are seeing, that is the effects of the white mold where it prematurely died. And it shriveled it up. And you can actually see it in the grain. So if you look at my grain quality camera here on the combine, when we start going through these spots, you will see the beans that I'm talking about that were affected by white mold as they just keep going through here. They're actually hard to see because they're black, but when we dump on the combine or on the grain buggy there, you'll definitely be able to see what I'm talking about. It's frustrating because when you have, I just feel like farming, you never have an opportunity to truly reach your full potential of what you can do. And I think that's just God's and Mother Nature's way to keep us coming back and trying for more and more. Because we've been blessed with a great year, but then we get hit with disease, like white mold. And, what could have been if we didn't have the white mold? And I catch myself saying a lot, what could have been if this was this way and that was this way? Which I'm always very blessed and thankful that we have what we have. But, when you try so hard to try to do everything that you can control and it still doesn't work out, or, you left some on the table, it frustrates me, but maybe that's just my OCD. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I don't like leaving anything left on the table. I'm a 100% all in kind of guy. Right now we're in the dog days of harvest. Everybody hates everybody. Everybody's tired. Nothing can go right. So even when something small happens, it gets blown out of proportion just because you're tired, you're frustrated, you haven't seen your family in forever. You're a slave to the machine right now, and that goes for all 10 guys that are here. It's hard. It's hard on their bodies. It's hard on your mind, and it's kind of just disheartening with the late harvest that we had. That, you know, we're all excited. Beans are almost done, but yet we've only got about 100 acres of corn done. And everybody knows how long corn harvest takes. And our corn's still wet. So it's going to be a long year. I don't know if we'll be done by the time we get to Thanksgiving. I doubt it this year. We just got to hope and pray that Mother Nature works with us here. We don't turn wet, real cold. And we get a chance to knock out the acres when we can, and I think we all know that. I mean, technically we all want to go deer hunting, and gun week is the Monday after Thanksgiving, so yeah, we like turkey and all, but we kind of like shooting deer better than turkey. So we're going to be pushing really, really hard to get done so we can go deer hunting that week, and that's why we're pushing the midnight oil hard right now, why it's the end of October instead of waiting until the end. So we'll see how it turns out, but it's a good problem because it's a good crop. So I'm very happy. I don't want to complain about the moisture that we had, but it's been an odd year, because my first thought I'd want to tell you is that no, we did not have enough moisture. But then I look at the yields that we're having, and we must have had adequate. We're actually on the drought monitor right now, underneath the moderate drought. We haven't been getting a lot of rain. The main thing that's slowed down harvest is, you know, we was 385 GDUs behind schedule this year because of the Canadian wildfires. So that smoke cover really blocked our GDUs. The crop never really turned, never really dried down. We're normally running by the second week of September corn and soybeans. And this year it was like October 5th before we even got rolling.
Farmers deserve a nitrogen that works as hard as they do. One that stays with the crop until the job is done. It's time to turn to a better nitrogen with Pivot Bio.
Fungicide we're using is Veltima, because our third year with it. It's been working great. There has been some tar spot already spotted in northern Ohio. Normally we've already flown all this corn, but we was able to wait until July 26th today. It's already past blister stage, starting to fill out already. Clearly we've been able to keep disease pressure away, and Veltima should protect us all the way through the rest of the season. In the past 3 years, we're 365 GDUs behind schedule. So that is one of our concerns here. You know, if we don't have solar, we don't have GDUs, we don't have photosynthesis, we don't have energy into that plant. So that's where, when you guys approached about Architect and being able to add that on at that V5 time frame, I was really excited for it. Definitely looks like it's doing its job here. I'm excited to take it to yield and see if we can't get it on every acre next year. In corn, we just now found corn that's under 30%. Just this week. Today's Thursday. This was Monday. I mean, it's that bad. And you know, when we're October 20th something, and you're just now finding corn under 30%, you know, soybeans, we had to wait on them. And we had nothing to do. We had some early groups, 3.3s ready. We ran all the 3.3s we could, and then we had to sit and twiddle our thumbs. We had no corn ready, we had no soybeans ready. It wasn't from the lack of trying to do something, trust me. You know how hard it is to see a sunny day and not be in the fields in a combine, but if you can't go, you can't go. It's just been one of them odd years. It's the best way I can put 2023. It's just a very odd year because I wasn't too hyped up about this year's crop. Didn't think the yield potential was going to be there, and here we are. But we have the yield, but we can't get anywhere near to finish out a crop. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I really think, a big tool that we have in our toolbox is dealing with these great companies. I think 2012 really taught the industry a lesson of how bad things really can get, and the industry responded. And you look at all these different varieties and hybrids, whether it's corn and beans that we have today, that's because of what took place in 2012. It takes 5 years before we ever see it from once they start addressing a problem. So once they seen, oh crap, we need that. You look at this year where I feel like, drought year, we didn't have enough water, and these crops are still performing this well. Hat off to all these companies. It's not just one, it's across the board. But as a farmer, I appreciate that, because look at the money that's putting back into our pocket. Secondly, I think helping, keeping these plants fed, healthy, stress-free. For me, a tool I love to have in my back pocket is the kelpine. I can go out there, spray, and know that these crops are going to try to wait on the rain, and when they're hot and dry, that's not going to affect them near as bad.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product number one, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.
Did I go higher on drought resistant stuff this year? No, not really. Going higher on drought resistant stuff would be like saying pulling up to a drag race with a Prius because you say you like the fuel mileage. Give me the horsepower, baby. You can't, we don't know when we're selecting our hybrids of when the drought's going to come, or if a drought's going to come. We don't know what kind of growing season that we're going to have. So we put our best foot forward for the best crop that we think we can manage. That gap though has gone away, because just a few years ago, you heard that a lot. Well, this is a great workhorse hybrid, or this is a drought guard hybrid. Now you will hear this hybrid is really good and it can go anywhere. It's a go anywhere hybrid. Well, we've really taken that word defensive hybrid or drought guard hybrid away, because it's now in all the genetics across the board that we can help manage drought stress and then heat stress. So I'm tickled to death with how much we have advanced technology-wise in seed in just a short amount of time, and we're only going to get better. We look at genetics so we can grow more bushels with less rain. Okay, well, what about nitrogen? How do you grow a bigger crop with less nitrogen? Well, let's stop here a second and talk about Pivot Bio and their Proven 40 product. Here we are running the lowest nitrogen rates that we've ever ran this in our lives, and we're having one of the best corn crops that we've ever had. We're almost down to 0.6 to 1 ratio to nitrogen to yield. And so once again, we can talk about how all these seed companies are growing more with less. Well, now we have these companies like Pivot Bio with the Proven 40 that is helping us grow more with less, and that's in the nitrogen department. And once again, not only is that adding yield to our budget, that's also protecting our budget to where we're spending less on nitrogen to begin with. So whenever you can add, two things right there, more yield and less upfront cost. I like that. Saving money and making money. And this year also, I got to give a big shout out to BASF. Tar spot has been prevalent everywhere. And, luckily we came in the first week of August and sprayed it with Veltima, and it held it off completely. We just now starting to see some come in really, really late, but to the point that it's not affecting yield at all. So once again, when it comes to crop protection products, keeping disease set aside, there's nobody better in my book than BASF when it comes to that. And I'm just tickled to death with the job that it has done, especially when you look at a neighbor's field, which you never wish anything bad upon a neighbor, but when you see the disease pressure right across from you, and you look at your field and it's completely healthy and clean, that's where you just want to give the old tip of the cap to BASF and say thank you, because it's definitely helping out our crop this year. So we've updated one of our grain drying locations. We've had an old dryer there, an old air system there for a long, long time, and we finally updated it to a brand new dryer, brand new airlock system, all new piping, 5-inch airlock. That has been a blessing so far this year. Just because the corn's so wet, it's really going to speed up the process. So, I'd say that's probably been the favorite thing of the farm so far this year. One of these times I do want to talk, we can talk about overcoming adversity, different things like that. And there's no stat to this, this is what I feel like. I feel like in life, every 5 years, you are dealt with a challenge of adversity that could really hurt you. And I feel like once every 10 years, you're dealt an adversity card that can ruin you. And you don't know when it's coming, you don't know how it's coming, but it's how you respond and it's how you handle it. And I kind of go back to that statement, a measure of a man. And, we all go through hell. We all have demons, we all have different things that, we'd like to change or do better. But at the end of the day, it's not what you did, it's how you're going to fix it and how you're going to respond from it. Advanced yield's going well. We've been out delivering products, definitely ahead of schedule compared to last year. So far, I'm really happy. On the main stem, we're averaging 6 pods per node. We have really good branching going on here. I still think we're set up for probably one of our best soybean yields that we've ever had on this farm. So I'm pretty excited for it.
We've really been fine-tuning our in-furrow program over the past couple of years and running some products that are really making a difference with this early season root growth. So we love our Pivot Bio, using that product #1, and then we're adding some things to not only feed that Pivot Bio, but feed the corn plant as well. So some sugar sources, a carbon source, just trying to get these little plants off to the best start we can get them.